So I'm super excited here today at our Leadership Unplugged with my friend Al Blumenberg, who is the Senior Vice President at NEI Global. Al, how are you, friend?
I'm doing great, yeah. Peggy. How are you?
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
But Al, more than you being here, you know what today is?
What?
It is Wine's Day Wednesday. What do we got to do, Al?
Let's get some wine out.
Let's get this going. Let's make this show happen right here. There you go. All right.
Very nice.
All right. So, Al, here's what we're going to have a toast to. We're going to have a toast to all of your leadership that you have done through the years, not just on the business side, but I want to have you talk about it with the Lions Club. So Get a sip, and we'll get started. How is it? Smooth?
It's good.
Went
I'm
down
ready
well?
to go.
All right, tell me a little bit about that transformation of the leadership skills on the business environment into your passion with Lions Club.
You know, it's very interesting because as a leader in business, people follow you. You have a responsibility of managing a process, of managing those people. When you get into a volunteer role, as you know here, the leadership is a little bit different. People have to believe in your vision, in your dream of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So if it's doing a barbecue to raise money to buy glasses for kids, or if it's going on an eye mission trip in some third world country to hand out used eyeglasses, whatever it may be, you got to have that buy-in from the followers, from the people that you're trying to lead. So I think that's extremely critical. And you know, over the years, especially with ERC, learning how to deal with volunteers has really been very enlightening for me, because it has led into my personal life with the Lions Club, and that's just been awesome.
You know, one of the things, it's so funny you talk about that, because when I think about volunteers, they're giving of one of three things: time, talent, or treasure.
Absolutely.
And regardless of their level of contribution in any one of those three, the philosophy to always make them feel good about their contribution. So I think you hit the nail on the head, sort of, you know, around how you move that from one environment into the other. So what was the toughest transition between the two, if you think about that? Where you control resources in one, where you don't control them in the other?
I think the hardest piece is just learning what motivates that volunteer.
Yeah.
Because they don't always have the same vision that you have.
Yeah.
And to get their buy-in, to get their commitment to move that presentation forward, to move that barbecue forward, you know, it's really understanding what drives them.
Yeah, the buy-in.
The buy-in, and how you can help them to realize that they're getting to that buy-in by helping with your project or whatever.
Okay, so I want to continue on our leadership theme, because we talked about that transference between business to the volunteer and to the passion. What about from the youth? You know, we have a responsibility, and I think sometimes we sort of sit leadership up on this pedestal, but what are the qualities that you see in bringing along youthful leaders?
So I think there's a couple of things that are extremely important for younger people. And I noticed this going back years ago when I was a scout leader.
Oh, wow.
So the kids who were in the scout troop who had attended like leadership training or worked at a scout camp, part of that scout camp experience was being able to stand up in front of 450 people and do some kind of skit or to talk, to be in front of people. And I noticed that the kids in the troop who had participated in that were much better at a senior leadership role than those kids that hadn't participated in those kind of activities. So I think communication, being able to connect, being able to relay, to bring that vision, express that desire, I think that's critical in young people. And you know, it's interesting to see how younger folks have come along, and I'm amazed sometimes at what younger people will say, their ideas, how they look at a problem and come across with a totally different mindset, if you will, of how I would approach it. So I think that's
way cool. So last little quick thing, and we'll wrap up here. You talked about being a scout leader and leadership. Tell me about being a grandpa leader.
Well, that's a little bit different.
Aha!
So 4 grandkids.
Awesome.
two of the oldest.
Yeah.
First of all, remember my oldest son works for the Boy Scouts, so he's a Scout executive.
Oh, wow.
So my oldest grandson is in the Cub Scouts, and my oldest granddaughter is also in the Cub Scouts.
Oh, awesome.
So that's kind of neat because we've been a kind of a scouting family for a long time. And dealing with the two grandkids that live out of town, Skype and what's important and paying attention and trying to have a meaningful conversation while they're trying to get back to their movie or their game or whatever has been interesting and challenging as a grandparent. Also, the two youngest grandkids who are almost 4 and I believe 18 months, sometimes it's run into grandpa's arms and big hug, and sometimes it's like, who are you, So that's more of a challenge as they're younger, but
But you're still growing your leadership skills no matter what.
Still trying to grow the leadership skills, absolutely.
Al Blumenberg, thank you so much, my friend, for being here.
Thank you.